my room is a whole mess. Is a whole mess. I'm gonna show you part of it. I don't even think I'm ready to show you the whole thing yet. But today's been an interesting day. Trying to figure out where to start. Um, this is not a permanent, a fixed lock. I took one of my old locks that fell off and tried to braid it into it. But I told y'all every time I get on here, I end up using this camera like it's a mirror. So that's why I get sidetracked. Anyways, I'm Frederica Hutchinson. I'm your hostess of Life Reimagined Show. And the reason this today has been so interesting is the last 24 hours I've been at the well, I'll say 48 hours. So it's been like a day and a half. I've been at the ER. And I was at the emergency room with my husband. We had to take him back. For those of you who've been watching, we were in the hospital for about 15 days. And we got home. He was home for several days. And I woke up beside him the other day and just reached over to check on him, see how he was doing. And his temperature felt like 103, like without exaggerating. It was extremely high, extremely high. And so we had to go back to the ER. We didn't go back to the same ER. I haven't disclosed some things, but I'll be talking about that shortly. So we didn't go back to the same ER. When we got to the ER, he was freezing. He had chills. He was cold. Um, not doing well. Come to find out, he had flu, and there's still several ongoing issues as well. So that's been one thing. And so what I'm doing today is, so the last few days I've been, last couple weeks, almost month, be preoccupied with that. But today what I am doing is I am decluttering. I'm decluttering. Two totally different issues. I got a couple people saying hi, hello, 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 my friends. Frederica again. You and y'all, forgive me for tilting my head, but I got my phone. You are on drugs. Let me tell you something interesting about me. Don't drink, don't smoke. Never did drugs. Um, know people who have, and I'm always relieved when they are no longer on drugs. So no, not on drugs. How about you? Let me see. Are you are you my I can't read that. They should really make this bigger. I'm getting old. I can't see all that. But the reason I'm on here, and I thank you guys for coming, and I really appreciate it, appreciate the love. But the reason I'm really on here is because I am really looking at changing my life, getting my life back on track, back in order. I have actually been operating in chaos. And my husband just asked me, he said, "Why are you recording, going live, and this room's a mess?" Well, because I know for a fact I'm not the only person that's living in chaos. I know for a fact I'm not the only person who has who who life has kind of shocked. Because let me tell you, with everything that I've had going on, and that's why I kind of started with my husband and what he's been going through, is because sometimes we go through things and it just shakes our world. And we are not functioning at the level that we know that we're capable of. We're not functioning at the level that we used to function at, and nobody's talking about it. And maybe they are, maybe I just hadn't heard them. But I just want to share. I want to share. My daughter actually told me, she's just turned 9 this last week. And she told me, she said, "Mom, I know where you have a YouTube channel because you like to talk and you like to share your story." And I said, "You know what? You're exactly right." So I like to share my story, but I don't like to share my story just for my benefit, but because I feel like there's somebody out there who's going through what I've been through and who could use the support. And I really want to be the voice. I want to be the person that I needed when I was going through that. So I'm trying to see if there's anything else I can read. I see some highs. I'm going to unsubscribe just because you're being really nice. And I love, love, love you. answering my question so calm. Thank you. Thank you. And then, are you lonely? No, I'm not lonely. Let me tell you something about me. I am a social butterfly, so I always feel like everybody's my friend. I'm actually in a new season of my life where I'm trying to realize that everybody's not my friend. Everybody don't love me like I think everybody should. But it's okay. I'm gonna have to take this out. I was being extra with this little piece of hair and I braided it in. But thank you. I hope all of you that are watching will subscribe. Um, because I think there are so many people out here who feel like they're all alone. This room, by the way, if I was to show you this room, like the view I'm showing you, it looks so pretty. It looks so pretty. I love my room, but it's a total mess. I'm not going to show you that part. What I am going to show you, and I'm going to flip my camera around. This is the part I'm tackling. When I get ready to tackle that part, I'll show it to you. Let me flip my camera around. So this is my closet. This is my closet. That's my closet. And this is what I'm about to go through. And what I realized is, so I'm getting the house remodeled. And I will show you, I want to show you all the kitchen because George has been here. George is the general contractor. He's been working diligently in between us being in the hospital, and in between he's had some life moments happen over the last week as well. So we didn't get to do as much as we wanted to do. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to clean up my mess. I have been operating in chaos. It's like I've always been going. I've always been trying to take care of everybody else. I haven't been prioritizing my life. I haven't been prioritizing myself, and I've been putting everybody else first. And so, in this season of my life, I am sharing my truth. My truth is I was a hoarder. My truth is, after I lost my 7-year-old daughter, and it's funny because I think this is the first time I've said it and actually applied it to myself. Because normally when I share my story, it's like I'm on the outside looking in, and I'm talking about somebody else's story, and I don't. I'm really not trying to be extra today. I just woke up this morning, and after almost losing my husband twice, I just realized that I have to be real. I have to be my authentic self. I can't be somebody else. I can't fix other people. I can barely manage my own life. And so in this season, I just want to I just want to look at myself and love me. I want to look at myself and fix my life. I want to have the relationship. I want to have a relationship with my children, a healthy relationship. I don't want this cycle to continue. And I know I'm not the only one. And I don't want other people to go through this. I want I want I am live, sweetie, so unless you want to be on my camera, stay behind me. That's my husband. I always tell y'all he doesn't want to be on the camera, so I'm trying to respect it. But like I said, he's been in and out the hospital. And when you love somebody, regardless of how you think you feel about them, we were actually at a place in our marriage where I honestly, for the first time in my life, considered divorce. Like, I was just like, if you're not happy, there's no need. And I love them. I love them. I knew I loved them, but I was just like, if you're not happy, then leave. And I started to feel like, okay, I'm not happy. I'll leave. I'll look outside. And the reason I'm sharing all this is not not because he's a bad husband or I'm a bad wife. It's because we're people, we're human, and we make mistakes and we have needs. And sometimes when you feel like your needs are not being met, you do things. So I'm all over the place. That was not my intention. Like I said, what my intention is to declutter this closet that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'll set my phone up right here, and I'll continue to talk to you guys. But I am gonna share two things, and one that I'm proud of. It's a different topic, but I just received a phone call from my youngest son's family, and this is after his dad has been in the hospital as well. And his dad, they were calling because his aunt has been very great for his whole life. Anytime my son has attended school, I mean, received his grades, she's given him money for his grades, and she pays well. And so why he's not motivated by that, I don't know. But he wasn't doing as well in his classes. And so we were talking and we went through all the emotions and all the conversations. And we finally decided that as a family, everybody will pick a subject that they're great in and they will follow up with Jeremiah to make sure that he is doing well. And so one of his one of what someone's going to help him in science this year. I'm going to help him with English. His dad was good in math. He's going to help with math, and his cousin is actually tutored Spanish. She's going to help him with Spanish. So we are all going to assume responsibility. And the reason I mention that is because, like I said before, I lost a child, and I told the family today, I said, I assume responsibility as a parent. That's my child. That's actually our child. But I assume responsibility because if he's failing, it, it's even though I had to do it myself, it's two parts. I'm failing him as a parent because I'm not connecting and checking and following through with him. He's failing himself because at some point he has to take ownership as well. So, what we came up was a family plan to help him succeed. So in this season of my life, one of the things that I'm doing is I'm reimagining every aspect of my life. I wish I had reimagined this hairstyle. It looked cuter in purpose. Y'all have to forgive me. Every time I look in this camera, it's like looking in a mirror. So it looks crazy right about now, but it did look cute before I got on in my head. But somebody just commented, let me see if I can read it, and I got to tip my head. Life is not always beautiful. I know that's right. Let us face the problems with strength. God will bless you because you face the problems with courage. That means so much to me. Thank you so much. Don't cry, sis. Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And I thank God that I cried because for so many years I didn't cry. I didn't cry. And not only did I not cry, I didn't feel. I was numb. I couldn't feel anything. And so for me to be able to feel in this season, I am so grateful. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that my son's dad and his sister, my son's aunt, called me today, and they care enough about our son that they want to make sure that he's not failing. And I was thinking to myself, after I talked to them, I was thinking to myself, but it's been 15 years. It's been 15 years. And the interesting thing, if you've ever lost anybody you love, whether it was a child, whether it was a parent, it doesn't matter. If it's a job, if you've lost something that you love, that you planned on, it doesn't, the pain doesn't go away. You just you adjust, you adapt, but it's okay. And what I have to keep telling myself and what's true is um it's his timing, and you have to go through the process. It's taken me 15 years to go through the process. But it doesn't matter how long it takes you to go through the process. If you don't go through the process, there's some people that die and they never complete the process. I don't want to be one of those people. I was talking to, and I don't want to disclose who the person is, but I was talking to a very good friend of mine today, and she happens to be a little older. She's about 70 something years old, and she told me that she has been to 3 funerals. And I would imagine at 70 something and all your people around you start to pass, you really start to think about life in a different light. And that was part of the conversation, is she was thinking about her life in a different light. And I was telling her that I've been thinking about my life in a different light. And I don't want to be the person I've been. And I thought I was a pretty great person. I cared about people, but almost to a fault. I think anytime you care about people and you don't care about yourself, that's a problem, because it technically it's not even possible, because how can you love somebody else when you don't love yourself? So I we were just talking, we were talking about life, we were talking about death, we were talking about what we want to accomplish, who we want to be. Um when I die, I do want to leave a legacy. I don't want to just die and there was another lost soul. I want to be somebody that actually poured into other people, that other people could say, you know what, this person helped me live my life. So that's part of the reason that I do share my experiences, what I'm going through. Even though this is very uncomfortable, it's uncomfortable to acknowledge and admit, hey, I've been a hoarder. It's uncomfortable to say, hey, and I haven't me personally, but through my life, I have experienced people who've gone through substance abuse, alcoholism, people who've gone through domestic violence. I have gone through domestic violence, but it's hard to acknowledge those things. But if we don't talk about it, there's somebody else out there that might be watching is thinking, oh, I'm the only person that's going through it, and you're not. So that's the reason I share this. My children and my husband have asked, why would you share that? But that's my reason why. Because after losing a child, I've I've watched myself change. This was not the woman, this is not who I was. I was always a natural leader. I was always strong. I was always articulate. I had all these great strengths. What's interesting is after all my storms, I actually feel like I'm a stronger person. Um, I feel like I still have a lot of opportunities, but I'm becoming more aware. And I think the more aware you are, then you can acknowledge what it is that you need to work on. And that's where I'm at today. I'm acknowledging that, hey, this is not the life that I imagined. And guess what? I can reimagine my life. I'm not stuck in this. I'm not stuck. I'm gonna show y'all this closet again. If you're just joining us, I'm not stuck in this. And this is just one closet, but when I tell y'all the whole house is a whole mess right about now, but that's okay. I'm not ashamed. I've already started on this little shelf right here. I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna pull all this stuff out. And I am going to get my house and my life back in order. When I moved into this house, I was 26 years old. And this was a very, very beautiful house. I was very proud, not in a prideful way. Um, but I noticed over the last several years, I'm rarely home. I'm always running the streets. I'm always doing something. But part of it is my house used to be my sanctuary, and I don't think I felt safe in my house anymore. Matter of fact, and I'm just talking out loud right now. Um, if I had to connect the dots, if I had to connect the dots and really realize why this house was not a safe place for me anymore, this she actually didn't die inside my house. She died in front of my neighbor's house. But I lost my daughter at home, and I felt like I was supposed to be on watch, like kind of like in the military. If one of your I don't know what you call them, the person in the army with you, but if somebody dies on your watch, then it's like they died on my watch, and that's kind of how I felt like my daughter died on my watch. So I'm just thinking out loud. Um, it has been hard over the last 15 plus years to find comfort in this home. Um, I I I I probably could have moved when when all this first happened. I actually somebody asked me if I wanted to move, and I didn't. And I chose to stay here, and it has been hard. As a matter of fact, I remember when she first passed, and for those of you who don't know, my mom accidentally ran over my daughter, and it was 100% an accident. So I'm not saying anything to that. I love my mother loved my daughter. But what was interesting is it happened right outside our driveway. So on the other side of the fence in front of my neighbor's yard. And for the first year almost, I could not drive over that spot. And what's interesting is how subconsciously you still continue to think about things. And so not only so I couldn't drive over that spot for almost a year. And it was interesting because my mother's the one that helped me to overcome that. And she said to me, she said, one day I got in the car with her and she got ready to drive up the road. And I was like, Mama, you can't drive over that spot. And she was like, what do you mean I can't drive over that spot? And she said, and so she did it. And at first it was just like, I could not believe she just ran over the spot because that's where she had accidentally ran over my daughter. And after that, I think the first time I tried, I went around. I did like this. So I was going straight and I went around it. And that's what I used to do all the time. I would go around the spot. And then the first time I did it and I was able to ride over it. The next day I rode over it. And then it became more natural. But me and my daughter who witnessed it, we talked once before, and that was really hard. That was really hard for it to be right outside our door. So the only reason I was mentioning that is I was trying to connect the dots on one of the reasons I've struggled and to find peace in my own house. And I feel like I've been running from my own house for years because there was no peace here. And all of us, that's all we want. We want safety, we want security, and I no longer feel safe and secure. And even in parenting, I no longer felt safe and secure. I felt guilty for a long time. And not only that, like I remember I always had slumber parties with my daughters. We had sleepovers and we would cook. And I was a really good mother before I lost my daughter. And immediately after I lost Naomi, her name was Naomi Love, by the way. But immediately after I lost Naomi, I started to think to myself, like, I can't trust myself. Like, I stopped trusting myself. How do you trust someone else more than you trust yourself? And I was like, I can't trust myself. And so I I think I stopped having the slumber parties. I stopped doing the things that I once did with my kids. We always used to go to parks. We were girly girls, and then I had them two boys, by the way. But we were girly girls. We loved dressing up. We loved shopping. We stayed in somebody's a shopping store, somebody's store. But I stopped doing all those things. And so again, the reason I'm having these conversations is because there may be someone else out there that's lost a child. Somebody else out there who feel like who no longer trust themselves. Somebody who feels like they're not worthy. But you are. But you are. You are beautiful. You are worthy. Today, like I said, this hairstyle looked better when I was in front of the mirror than it does on this actual camera. But the reason that I'm embracing, you'll see me sometimes I'll have my natural hair, sometimes I have my ponytail, sometimes I have my wig. But the reason I do that is because I want to love me. I want to love every part of me. I want to love the beautiful parts. I want to change the ugly parts. I want to embrace myself. I want to acknowledge that hey, not only was I a hoarder, I still got hoarding tendencies and we're going to do away with all this stuff and we are going to reimagine and have the life that we want. So, I've been talking. I don't know if I can stand this up. I'm going to try. And when I tell you guys that when I say hoarding, I'm not saying it like some clickbait or something. Let me see how I can stand this up. Because I'm gonna have to get up. I've been talking, but I'm gonna have to get up and actually clean up. And and just so you know, this the pretty side. Because I really have a whole mess behind me. But the reason I'm sharing this also is because I don't want to go back. You know, like sometimes people do stuff and they say I'm sorry, they repent or whatever, and then they go back and they doing you catch them a month or two later, they doing the same thing over and over again. I'm not when I want to. Let me see. Is that y'all gonna see me? I don't know how. I don't have a real stand for my camera. I just I'm gonna call it. I rigged it on a Dunkin' Donut stick. I really did, y'all. but I need to get moving. So, and forgive me, I just got on some Sunday clothes. I didn't dress up today. I just pulled my ponytail down. I'm going through my closet. As I'm going through my closet, one of the first things I see is one of my uncle's obituary. We were talking earlier about life. I'm looking at my daddy's obituary. Um, that's interesting. I didn't even know it was in here. Looking at, I got pictures. I won't show her picture, but I got my first daughter who's 26 years old. I got her baby picture right here. But all of these are just memories. These are things that I value. Got a picture of me and my husband. These are all things that I value, but that I never made a place for. Never made a permanent home. It's just thrown in this closet. And so what I'm going to do right now, and I don't know if you guys can see me or not because I don't know where my camera's pointing to, but I'm going to start taking this stuff out the closet, trying to find a home for it. Some of it's going to be packed up. Like I said, I probably own about, I got thousands and thousands and thousands of pictures. And all of these are pictures. Look at this. This whole stack right here are pictures. I think that's a book. But everything else, these are all pictures. But it's interesting. I lost an older brother when I was 16. And I always used to say two things. I said I was going to have 5 kids because my mother only had 4. So when we lost one, it just felt like a big old loss. But it wouldn't matter if you had 20 kids, really. And then pictures. I always took a lot of pictures because when we lost my brother, I didn't really have any pictures of him. We only had like a few very selective pictures. I'm sitting here looking through these pictures while we're talking, trying to see if I see any pictures of Naomi that I want to share with you guys. So you can't really see, but this was Naomi at about 4. This was you can't tell, but that was a beautiful our living room back then. But we had a very nice little house. She was about 4 years old on that picture. I'm gonna show you this picture of us. I'm a crop out my oldest daughter's face just because I didn't get her permission to share this. But this was my Naomi. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's me with my little blonde hair. I do everything with this hair but what I'm supposed to do with it. I'll pull back. I don't know if y'all can see. But Naomi was 6 when she passed. 7, excuse me, 7 when she passed. I don't know if you guys can see. But I'm going to have to find somewhere to put these pictures. I got thousands of them. I'll be right back. I'm not going to leave the channel. I'm just going to keep recording. I just want to move this stuff somewhere, and I want to put it in a more permanent place. I'll be right back. Frederica, I gotta wash my hands. Where's that? You don't want to be on there. This is baby wipes right there. Just wipe your hand right now. Just wipe your hand right now. Baby wipes. You move that there. I gotta wash this pot. I'm trying to cook. Okay. So I hadn't put this stuff up yet. I'm just gonna. I'm gonna flip it around for a moment. If anybody's wondering if I really have rice in my cabinet, closet, whatever you want to call this, I do. I caught myself at one time prepping, and so I canned some rice. I was gonna can fruits and vegetables. This rice has been in this cabinet for years. And this is my bedroom, by the way. And I'll tell you something else too. So I'm remodeling the whole house and I realized this is not functional. So what I'm gonna do is I got a box and I'm gonna put all my rice down here. I'm gonna keep it, and I'm sorry y'all, let me turn around. I'm gonna put all my rice in this little box. And I don't know, maybe one day we will use it. But I'm gonna put all my rice in a box and I'm gonna get it out my closet. So one of the good things is, as we have been remodeling the house, it's making me think about how functional the house is and how functional or quote unquote dysfunctional I have been. And I'm trying to utilize my space better, manage my resources better. And excuse me, I'm gonna show y'all what I'm doing. It's dark. So I'm putting this in my little trash bag. I got my little trash bag hanging on the post and I'm putting those down in there. It's dark because I've been in this house for years. I will show y'all this. It's a mess too. So this hallway and stuff, we packed it up because we are getting the kitchen done. So a lot of stuff had to move from the kitchen, move from different places in order to make space. And like I said, yeah, it's embarrassing, but I'm more embarrassed. I would be more embarrassed if I stayed where I'm at than if I than me acknowledging where I'm at and being willing to change it. What's interesting to me is there were a lot of people, particularly when my daughter first passed, and they say things like, "If you ever need anything, let me know." And I believe those people really, really meant that. But as time go by, and the more time that goes by, people, I believe, and again, I keep saying I believe um, because actions sometimes are a little different. But people will, the longer time goes by, it's like how what like you should just get over it. Like you don't have a right 15 years later to still be struggling with the loss of your child. Like, why are you still struggling with that loss? As if I didn't lose a whole person. So I feel like it's been a long time, but I feel like in this season, this is the time for me to, I feel like I now feel safe enough that I've done enough healing that I can continue to proceed with my life. So that's what I'm doing. I thought I could clean and share this moment with you guys, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. I'll come back in a little bit because what I'll do is I'll do a little bit more work and then I'll just come back so you can see where I'm at. Because what I'm going to do is end up, and I might at least fix this hair so it looks better on the camera. But I'm going to get off so that I can actually clean this closet. When I get a little bit of leeway made and I figure out what I'm doing with stuff, I'll come back on and I'll share with you. Thank y'all so much, and thank y'all for not judging me. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.